Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, punters of all ages, welcome back to the Mock Sports presents the Quaddie Poddy for one last time this spring. The season 7, is it 7 or 8? 7, season 7 finale. I can't even keep track of it. We've been going so long now, it's incredible. Cashy, joined by Nicko. How are you, mate?
Good, man. It's the first time you've actually done the intro for a while. You've kind of forgotten about it, but no, it's good, man. It's last one to go out with, and then maybe some cricket content. Who knows what we've got in store? I don't think we need to sit down and have a look at what we want to do. You guys let us know what you want us to have a look at, because there's a lot we can get into. But I'm happy to be here for the last time this spring, and want to thank everyone for giving it a listen. We had a biggest spring yet.
Very big
over
spring.
25,000 listeners, just about.
Almost. We're closing in on it. We can hit it this weekend.
We'll probably hit it this weekend. So, 25,000 is huge. I think our goal was what?
12,000.
12. So, we've doubled it plus more. So, hopefully, if this one goes all right. But thanks to you guys. So, it's been awesome. So, what do we want to talk about?
Let's get it out of the way just quickly. I brought the old intro back for a reason. Happy 4th birthday, mate. Mock Sports is now officially 4th. 4. We always celebrate it on the Gong weekend because 4 years ago, 2020, in the middle of COVID, we decided to sit down and record the first podcast for the Gong weekend, and it showed how little we knew back then because we were like getting hyped. Like, it's big race day, and we're getting straight into big summer carnival after this. Yeah, we had no idea that the good horses only race during spring. Good horses isn't a year-round thing. Kembla Grange wasn't a massive track compared to Rosehill Randwick. We thought, it's the same as the AFL. All grounds are as big as the others. All horses are as good as each other. And, we started our podcast launching in to what, started to become donkey seasons. But we're 4 years ago now. We're sticking just to the carnivals. And, it's been a fun 4 years, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last 2 springs in particular have been really, really good for us. Obviously, we just spoke about this year, how we've gone really, really well. So I think we keep outstanding our views and what we think that we're going to go for with our goals. So who knows what it'll bring in the future. But the last 4 years have been crazy. I reckon we've almost given up 4 or 5 times probably where we've gone. We'll do a couple more and see how we go. And it's just edged us enough and brought us through just a little bit more. And then this season, I think, is just all kind of taken a little bit off our shoulders.
100%. The pennies finally dropped.
It's kind of happened. We did move into the studio, into my spare room at my house, which we spent a bit of coin on. So very, very thankful that has paid off. And so we got some more good things. But 4 years been pretty good, but we've got a couple more hopefully to go. So multiple.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Every time we sort of came around to spring, we were like, okay, if we don't see progression here, as fun as it's been, maybe we give it away. But then there's just progressions there, little by little. Then last spring we saw that big spike, and then this spring, like we said, massive spike compared to what we're used to. And, to be getting over 1,000 people on a regular basis when that was just one time a year is awesome. To have had 6,000 people or at least 6,000 plays, we don't know how many individual people, but 6,000 streams for Melbourne Cup to hear me give a bunch of shit to the eventual winner, incredible. Look, I always ask you on our birthday what your favourite memory is, but for the last 3 years you've given the same story, which is all of us trying to get on ice bath in the Golden Eagle. So I'll rephrase the question. What was your best memory mock-wise this last 12 months?
Last 12 months. Was it? I think it was this year we went to Flemington.
It was June last year, I think.
Okay,
so not within the last 12 months.
Magic Millions was really good. We went on our first probably real work trip where we actually had to do some real stuff. And that was at the start of this year. That was probably one of the best ones. If not, just getting this built up at home was something that we wanted to do for such a long time, but to actually do it and to actually get it done with money that we had earned and not really out of our pocket as well, which it was something that I thought was pretty cool, was something that we worked really hard for. So probably moving out of our old studio, which was awesome, but got really, really busy near the end, and there's all these technical issues, into now having this set up where it's here, it's in our house, it's not changing, no one's here, we can do it whenever we want, don't have to do it in the time hours, and do it literally whenever. That's probably my best memory this year. But what about you?
Magic Millions is up there. Like I would say, from the expectations we had to what actually eventuated, many technical difficulties later, many hot, humid days sitting up in those Magic Millions sales rings. There were some frustrating moments. There were some exciting moments, but just when we went up there, we thought we were going to be those little twerps sitting in the corner. No one's going to speak to us. We're just going to be sort of a fly on the wall. But to be welcomed in, and like any trainer we approached was happy to speak to us. Any personality that we tried to speak to was happy to speak to us. We weren't there to buy horses. We didn't have a lot of money, but that's why we thought no one's going to want to bar of us, because we're not there to drop $1 million on a horse. But they all appreciated us coming to say hello. They all were more than willing to give us sound bites or some video clips. Even Chris Waller, like I was shit scared when we walked up to Chris Waller, and he was like, "Yeah, done. Anything you need, just come grab me throughout the week." And we didn't take that opportunity because we thought, we'll get that one. But it was just awesome. Like, we got to spend so much time with so many cool people, got to meet a lot of new cool people. We met Monarch. We've ended up grabbing some horses with Monarch. And so, yeah, big thank you to, of course, Stridyl for having us up there in the first place. Without them sponsoring the podcast, we might not have been able to gather funds to be able to set all this up. Without them, we wouldn't have been at the Magic Millions in the first place. But across everything, I think my most favourite thing about how big the community's gotten this year, I think in the previous years, there've certainly been, people we don't know, but the majority of it was our mates. Okay, you had like casuals that came just for the tips, and that was it. And our mates were here to watch us be silly and make fun content. But it's sort of grown now to the point, I think, that more people than ever are here to watch like our stuff, and then like the tips are an added bonus.
Yeah, I don't think any of my mates watch this. I'll be 100% honest. I reckon there's probably...
They've all dropped off.
I reckon Coops, I know you're probably listening. But other than that, there's not many. I think that I could count on both hands. But that's fine. It's not something... Yeah. It doesn't matter. But... yeah, I think it's cool that we can get all these views and stuff, and it's actually people we haven't met, but we do get to meet. We've met a couple of cool people, so
yeah,
that's awesome.
That's the main thing. Like, to be pointed out at the races and people wanting to speak to us, take photos with us. It's awesome. It's really cool. I can't wait to see how big the community gets within the next few months, let alone next year, because it was summer last year where we saw a massive growth period, and then autumn again, and then of course we roll on to spring next year. One main thing we'll be looking at, punters, merch. We will get it out to you eventually. We've been working on it all year. Suppliers are surprisingly hard to get onto and get the right products. We've been dabbling away with T-shirts, many different kinds of hats, canvas hats, trucker caps, cord hats. But hopefully, I want to say pre-Christmas, but just in case it doesn't happen, I know before autumn, 100%. There will definitely be a merch drop before autumn. I'm going to guarantee that. I'm going to work my ass off and get some merch out to you punters before Autumn Carnival. Hopefully before, Magic Millions Carnival runs around, but if not, it'll be before autumn. But, mate, we'll move out to the side. Let's talk about the spring that was very quickly. There wasn't a lot to talk about last week apart from a couple of big upsets in the big races, and then our best bets absolutely running like morals beaten. I still can't believe they both got beaten. Absolute rorts, but we'll bounce back this week. Let's just talk about the spring that was. We'll jump straight into it. Horse of the spring.
I think Via Sustina clearly won how many Group 1s? 3 or 4 probably.
3, and it was the only fail was the one where it hailed beforehand and she just didn't handle it.
Yeah, Horse of the Spring easy. I know your Horse of the Spring was the one I was going to go with, but I'll go Via Sustina because that's the other obvious pick. What do you got?
Well, yeah, in my opinion, it was either go Via Sustina or Bella Nipotina, the obvious picks, or go for this horse that just came out of nowhere completely. And awesome to see it come out of nowhere because we usually see horses that do this in the sprinting ranks. So like the Think About It's come out of nowhere and rise up those grades and end up tackling Group 1s. Barraquil almost did it this spring, but didn't quite measure up to Group 1 status, but again, came through the grades and then burst onto the scene. Finally get to see it from a horse that's more a miler, and that's Cheerwolf. You know, benchmark quality in the autumn, benchmark quality early spring, builds its way up and up and up, wins an Epsom, and then goes to the King Charles, where the market, you know, respected it, but still had it around that $6, $7, $8 because you had your Pride of Jennies and your Fangirls in it dominating the market, and just gave them windburn in the end and really announced itself. Could have gone on the Cox Plate, but they said, no, we're going to bubble wrap him. We're going to take Autumn by storm and then take Cox Plate by storm next year and see how far we can go with this thing. I think, you know, if you're not thinking Via Sistina or Bellina Patina, there's no other answer than Cheerwolf.
Yeah, if you want me to go something that's not as obvious, I'd probably say Buckaroo had a really, really good spring.
Great shout. Only failure was the Melbourne Cup.
And that was due to the barrier. So,
and I don't think he could get the distance in the end either.
So I thought that horse had a really good spring. So that brings us to the flop of the spring.
Yeah, flop of the spring. Do you remember who your prediction was? Mine was Storm Boy. Who was your prediction for flop of the spring? Can you?
I couldn't tell you. I'll have a quick look, see if I can find it.
But mine was Storm Boy. Was my original prediction, and I think that's probably the most accurate one I've had. Other flops I've predicted went the opposite way. You know, we predicted Pride of Jenny last spring, or we predicted for the autumn, and what happened? She came out and became a world beater. And speaking of Pride of Jenny, I reckon she could qualify for flop of the spring this spring. Only one win in a 4-horse race at Moonee Valley. Like, come on now. Like, I know that there was all this controversy around the way she was being trained, the way she was being ridden, the way she was being owned. But obviously, massive letdowns in the Pride of Jenny camp compared to what she was in the autumn.
I'm trying to find this. I don't know if I'm going to... With osmosis, so there's a bit of a meme going on. Oh, let me see. Oh, it's going to be too hard. I don't know. I can't remember who I did. But
Fair enough.
My flop of the spring... Fangirl.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
I don't hear the. I know there's a lot of people probably on my side for this one, but you've called her the best horse in the country multiple times at the start of this spring, and I think we both can agree she's probably not in the top 5 anymore.
No, she's dropped out of my top 5 rankings. She's still in my top 10, but I just couldn't find a spot for her in my top 5.
I don't even know if she'd get my top after this spring.
I've got her sat around 7th, 8th.
Yeah, I don't know. Because we did it the other day and we didn't put her in that top 7 where we put another will in. For the spring.
Because I still take, you'll see in a minute when we go through our top 5 horses, I take into account some other things that didn't occur this spring because I'm not going just based off the spring. I'm going off their whole sort of last 12 months, whole sort of spectrum as a horse. I haven't done my 6 to 10, but I know that if I were to do it, Fangirl would probably be around 7, 8, 9, 10, probably closer to 9, 10 for me.
I don't know if I agree with that in terms of you pick your top 5 horses off their last 12 months. I feel like you got to go with top 5 horses at the current moment. That's just me personally, but you can do whatever you want to do with whoever you pick. But yeah, she's my flop of the spring. I think everyone expected to win at least another big group race. Apart from the one she won, she did pretty average in most of them, I'd say.
Yeah, well, Lip in the Winks, first up behind Zugotra and Via Sistina, won the 7 stakes, flopped hard in the King Charles, and then was half ahead behind Mr. Brightside and Antino in the Champions Mile. So not a terrible prep by any means, but not one of a best horse in the country like I had her listed as. I know a lot of people didn't even have her listed in their top 5s, but we respect her quite highly around Mocktown.
No, I definitely think Chris Waller will be looking back at that spring going, yeah, we missed out big here and we definitely flopped hard. So that'll be for me. So that's my flop of the spring.
Fair enough. Top 5 horses in the country as of this moment.
I think Via and Bella are locked. I'm going to leave Without a Fight out just because I don't think you can put it in the top 5 because it hasn't raced. Brightside sneaks in, so that's 3. I think Switzerland's probably in there now. That could be a bit of a roughie. And yeah, Chow Wolf.
So go in order for me, 1 to 5.
Just swap the last two. So I'd go Switzerland is number 5.
Okay, so that's Via Sistina, Bella, Brightside, Cheerwolf, Switzerland.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, fair enough. I've gone Via Sistina, obviously. Then there's Daylight, Bella Nipotina. Then we go Daylight again. And I've kept Without a Fight at number 3. Cups double, came back, ran fantastically the other day at Flemington. We'll see if it can hang in Hong Kong, but I think to be able to do that off a year break, and it was a Cups double. We can't forget that it was a Cups double horse.
Yeah, but I see that, right? But then as soon as Nature Strip retired, right? Couldn't put Nature Strip in as a top 5 horse.
That's because it ran so poorly in the lead up to its retirement.
No, that's not what I'm saying, though. Like, what I'm saying is if a horse retires, you automatically don't put that in your top 5 horses. But if it doesn't race for a year, it can still stay in. That's what I just don't understand. I feel like the way that I don't know. That's the way I look at it.
It's a fair
Animo, right? Animo would be top 5 horses the week after it retired.
Yeah.
But because it retired, we've taken it out and said it can't be in. But then Without a Fight doesn't race for a year but stays in yours. That's my query.
But it ran really good at Flemington, though.
Okay. If that's what you reckon, it's up to you. It's up to you. That's what I just think when you go top 5 horses, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like in the UFC. If they don't fight and they have a belt, they lose their belt. Doesn't matter how good they are and how good they were. If they don't fight or if they don't race, they lose. That's what I think.
It's a fair call. I'll give an honourable mention for 6th.
Yeah. That's all I want to know.
4th, Mr. Brightside. Wasn't in my top 5. It was teetering 6th or 7th, and then when he came out and reminded us how good he is at the mile, he jumped back in there. Cheerwolf rounds out my top 5 in number 5. And so if you don't want Without a Fight in there, my 6 would probably be, I would say probably a Switzerland.
So we've gone the same pretty much.
Yeah, I would have said a Broadsiding if he'd maybe done a little better in his last 2 starts. Broadsiding, again, was firmly in my top 5, but then probably him and Brightside probably did a swap there.
Yeah.
Because Brightside was around 6-7, Broadsiding was around 4-5. But because Brightside came back into the fold, Broadsiding sort of dropped off a little bit, did that switch. But yeah, if you want Via Sistina number 1, Bella number 2, Without a Fight number 3, Brightside 4, Cheerwolf 5, take Without a Fight out there. Brightside moves up to 3rd, Cheerwolf moves up to 4th, and then Switzerland comes into number 5. Call us boring for going both the same, but I mean, there's some good quality in those top 5s.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, best memory of the spring, horse-wise?
Best memory, Antino's win was something that I won't forget. Definitely that was a big one. The big protest for Golden Eagle.
The Golden Eagle protest.
I'm not going to forget that.
Not going to forget that for a long time.
Antino's run would be up there. Trying to think of some other big runs.
Via Sistina in the Cox Plate's mine.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Maybe even Alina when we tipped it
that was pretty good.
On our live.
That was pretty good. Despite it being a regular, just, listed race in the first at Flemington, and it's not a big Group 1 like that. That is a good memory. For sure.
But yeah, probably Antino's win, I reckon, was one of the best runs I've seen in a long time. Just the way it looked was just...
The way it was gone, and within 2 seconds it was 10 lengths out in front.
That was for me.
Fair enough. I guess we've got no hotline this week. The hotline goes out with a whimper for the spring, but we've got a listener question.
We have a singular listener question. Was that it for Private Eye? No success this autumn at all, and Saturday's performance was ... from Sam Mirza. Yeah, don't know. I thought it ran on all right. Just, I don't know if that was poor ride. I don't know, man. Personally, I think I don't know what the plan was from the camp, but to take Private Eye to the back, I don't know.
We got Boston rocked. And for those of you who don't know what that means, Boston Rocks is a horse in the care of the Corinda boys. Shout out to you boys if you're listening. When we were up at the Magic Millions, they told us this thing was a moral. It was a lock. It wasn't losing. So we unloaded probably our biggest bet ever on it. And we also had it as the last leg of about
like 6 or 7 multis were going into this horse.
This was make or breaking our Magic Millions weekend. This was either going to determine if we're sitting at home on Saturday night eating noodles.
Multiple thousands would have been won.
Or if we were hitting the tables at the Crown. And it ran like a busted ass. And it's happened about twice since where we've loaded a horse that we were supremely confident in. And we've said, today we're either winning big or we're getting Boston rocked. And that's exactly what happened to Private Eye on the weekend because Nick was very confident on it. I was very confident that it was going to run a strong race. I thought Briasa was winning, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it won. We also got a lot of mail about it saying that it's the best it's ever looked. It's a matter of Jay staying on. It's going to win by 5-10 lengths. We loaded it, and fuck, did we get Boston rocked. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it sucked. I honestly think it was the ride. Ran home in the last 80 really strong, but just
far too late.
Gave it no chance to be anywhere. I don't know what. I'd love to see the comments for that, but look, it is what it is.
Such a shame. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's it, unless they find some gas in the tank left to go around in autumn, because it's getting on in years now. Like, it's not just a horse that's, it's had a big unlucky run of unsuccess, let's just retire it now. He is getting on in years, so if he's got nothing left, let's just send him to the paddock. Anything else, mate, you want to touch on before we get stuck into these tips?
Nothing, mate.
All right, let's get stuck into the last rundown of the year. Kembla. We head to Kembla for the Gong weekend. The track is currently a soft 7, but with sun to be shining in the days leading up to the race, we should be getting a good 4, if not soft 5 on the day, potentially leading into a good 4 later on in the track. Race 1, we start off with a classic highway going bottom weight Lambe here, mate. We'll warn you punters, it needs 3 scratchings to get into the field. If it doesn't get into the field, I'm just not even going to touch this one from a betting point of view. It's as open as ever. It's a highway. We're getting into Donkeyville highway-wise, and the highways are always hard to pick. I think it should be favoured if it does get a start. Does best work at the distance. Does best work on dry tracks. So if we do get a drive by the weekend, it'll be really good. Smashed its competition last start, carrying 5 more kilos. So $8 to win, $2.75. If it doesn't get a start, I won't be betting. But if it does, I'm all over Lambe and the highway.
Yeah, dartboard for me. I'm going to go with Ulysses Blue, $23, $5.50 for a place. Molly Burke claims 2 kilos on it, 52 kilos for the horse, 14th barrier, 1 first up. But honestly, punters, I would stay away from this one. As we move to race number 2, 1400 meter at the benchmark 72. Your favorite is Mont Supreme. Another tough one here, punters. I don't know what you're really thinking of here. This is a real big field. But for me, it's going to be Famiko. $9.50, $3 for a place. 9th barrier, 53.5 kilos carrying. Again, punters, there's not much that I really love, but look, this one has been racing not too bad behind them last start at Kembla, and then before that in Newcastle, ran home pretty well. So comes here for this one. So have a go at it.
Yeah, I'm glad you went that. It was one of the ones I was looking towards, but I did settle on Monty Supreme. I know I don't like going favourites in the midway, but it's paying each way odds. So was it really a favourite, punters? Excellent closing speed behind Direct Fire last time they met in a midway. But the big difference here, guys, is Direct Fire is all the way out in barrier 18. It's out in the car park, and that's a leader. So it's going to have to do a lot of work to get to the front. Whereas Monty Supreme, it's a bit of a back marker, a bit of a midfielder horse. Draws barrier 7, a nice middle barrier. We get to do what they want. Can either set in the set in the midfield, or they can go all the way to the back if they would like. Also, 2.5 kilo swing on Direct Fire there. So I think this sets up nicely for it. $5.50 to win, $2.15 to place. Each way in the midway for Cashy as we move to race 3. The 1,000 metre benchmark 78. Straight to the point here. How is Pisanello not paying under $2? What? By far the best horse in the race. Doesn't even have to carry top weight. Should win comfortably, as long as he doesn't find himself boxed in the fence on that first barrier. Pisanello. Overs at $2.90, I say. Overs, Nick. Have you gone with Pisanello?
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. There's not really too much to add there for me either.
It's not often that I say a horse is overs at $2.90.
Yeah, 100%. We'll move to the next one, 1,200 metres at the benchmark 78. Another horse that I reckon is overs here, mate, is Gently Rolled. $9, $2.50. Racing pretty nicely in the benchmark 84 last start, 1.7 lengths behind the winner. Gets a nice price, got a heavy weight, Hieronymus on board, but Gently Rolled for me in the fourth.
Look, the only other thing I have to add is that I don't love that a certain bookie's made it the best of the day. I hate that, but considering it was starting $3.80 last start in a much harder race and she only got beaten by a couple of lengths, she's now $9. I 100% agree with you, mate. All over Gently Rolled here, purely from a betting point of view. She is just overs. $9 in a weaker field. She's restricted just to going against the females. Yes, like you mentioned, big weight, but forms around Winchat, Tavi Time, Ferrari, all of them would spank this field, surely. Gently Rolled for me as well. We move to race 5, 2,000 metre benchmark 78, and in my opinion, other than the Gong, it's the race of the day here. You could make a case for a few of them. Gilded Water, Bullets High, Alicants, Modesty, they all read as top chances, but then there's a few at rougher prices that could put their hand up here. I've set it on Gilded Water, and now I just know that I'm not on it. Bullets High is going to piss in because I've jumped off him after he failed to win for me last week as my best bet. And now that he's out to like $7, he's probably going to run past him at the 400 and then turn to the camera and laugh at me for jumping off. But Gilded Water scratched a couple of weeks ago on, I believe it was meant to run on Golden Eagle Day, or maybe it was 5 Diamonds Day actually that it was meant to run. And it's come here to an easier field, also a better setup because it was a bit more down in distance that other race. It now gets out to that 2,000 metres first up, but it's proven at the distance, which some of these horses aren't. Bullets High isn't. That's why I've jumped off, even though Bullets High is racing like a horse that's going to eat up 2,000 metres. I like it. Waller Import, first up. You know I have a sickness for those sort of horses, Nick, so $4.50, Gilded Water.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gilded Water for me. Was it scratched last week?
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, so yeah, we'll take it here. Race number 6, benchmark 78. I'm going to have a 2-play here. Silent Impact for me, $10, $3 to replace. Got a black book first up. 4 starts, 2 wins, 1 in the minor as well. Should be very, very good. Timmy Clark, Gay Waterhouse. Give me Entente vibes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, bro. Same silks.
Yum. And then I'm also having a play on Rapidash, $21, $4.50. I've got to go again here. Was unlucky, did really well coming third last start when I tipped it. I think I can do it again here. So hopefully one better, $21, $4.50. So I'll play 2 on this race here, punters. But yeah, that's just for me.
God, I'd love to do like a hour-long breakdown of like the top 10 mock horses of all time. I feel like Entente would be up there. We backed it that many times, and
maybe we could do that one day.
Oh, there's so many horses.
I don't know if anyone would listen to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like some of the long-term listeners would tune in. Henry would. Henry, if you want us to go through the top 10 mock horses of all time, we already know what number 1 is.
If you want us just to come over to yours and just sit at your table and we'll all just have a chat, just let us know.
Yeah, 100%. Just quickly, so what do you have a black book comment for Silent Impact?
Good horse, 2 wins in a row.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, it's just
a while ago.
It's in my black book as well from ages ago as well.
I don't even remember it. Maybe we black booked together.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it's a bit cute that we've both got probably from the same run that we black booked that.
Probably.
But yeah, I have settled with Blazing Harry. Boring, I know the favourite, but yet to put a step wrong all career. Has the price in Kent shine. Won well on Cup Day. Can go on with the job now. Rise in distance. It ran on really strongly to get up there on Cup Day. And now jumps up another 100 metres. The one time it went this distance, it came second, Nick. Do you want to take a guess which horse it came second to?
No.
Stapati.
Cool.
Back when Stapati was like...
a gun.
Yeah, the man in town. So it's a proper group horse form there, and Stapati's only just coming back into the fold now, placing in a bunch of big races. So I like it there. $4, I'm all over it. Blazing Harry. Move to race 7, 1,600 metre here, benchmark 88. This race is filled with a bunch of horses that just missed a start in the Gong or are still waiting to potentially get a start in the Gong. So I'm all over Tavi Time here. I know that 62 kilos is a lot, but
I'm
Benjamin
a favourite
Osman,
today, mate.
Yeah, I know. But I'm liking them. I'm liking them today. But I do go value later on punters. From here on out, it's all value for me. But yeah, just I think it's a really good chance in the Gong. So I don't think it gets a start there because it's the last emergency. It needs 4 horses to scratch to get in, I believe. I know it carries a big rate here, but the claim gets us down to 59 kilos. It's a very, very good horse for this level. I really think that this sort of level, these high benchmark races, those low listed races like the Gong, it's 3 from 5 at the distance. It can do it on good. It can do it on soft. Tabby time for me at $4.
Fair enough. I'm going Rock Empire, number 15, $6. First barrier, Timmy Clark again, Gabe Waterhouse. Apart from that last run, was doing pretty well. Won at the 1600, races again at the 1600 on Saturday. And then before that was racing really well at the 1400. So for me, that last run, when it came fourth, it was seeking a bit more. That's why I'm going for it here. It's get the 1600 again. Rock Empire for me in the 7th. We'll skip the 8th, take us to the 9th, mate.
I'll be pretty straight to the point here because I spot a horse here that overs galore. I own a Merc at $7 to win, $2.20 to place. What? I'm a big I own a Merc guy. Like, I know it didn't win last prep, and I know that I was all over it last prep and it cost me a bit of money for not winning, but he's just got so much pace. And I love a Bjorn Baker like sprinter over the 1,000 first up.
Oh, don't you love a Bjorn Baker horse?
Yes, in those silks as well. Gimme. Love me some Derby racing Bjorn Baker trained sprinters with Rachel King on board. Goodness me. It's the cashy setup here. Osmosis for those playing along at home. But yeah, I love him when he sends them out first up over this sort of distance and they just blow him away with pure pace. Like, I think, it's what's going to happen here. He's never missed the Quinella at this distance. He's never missed the trifecta first up. Rachel King knows this horse like the back of her hand. Also, the 2 times that it's come here, it's never missed the placings. I just think at $7 to win, $2.20 to place, I am all over this horse. I don't know why it's not shorter. I think it jumps, settles just off the pace, and then just goes whooshka, blows them away with pace down the straight. I own a Merc for a very confident tip there.
I'm taking Headwall with Fleetwood and near second for me. Fleetwood coming back for the first up. If you like that punters, I literally respect it so much. But Headwall for me, last 3 runs have been awesome, and then that win was just what it needed. Get it again here. Same distance, I think does its best work at the 1,000 meters. It's had 8 runs. It's won 4, and it's had 4 in the minors. So, yeah, you haven't missed a placing in its 8 starts at this distance. I reckon it'll do well here. $5 for the win. Headwall. As we move to the last, benchmark 78, 1,200 meters. The last race of the season in the normal rundown. Ironman for me, $6 is your favorite. Can it do one better than it's done the last 2? I hope so. Jockey is still to be determined. 60 kilos is a lot of weight, but honestly, this horse has been so close twice. Hopefully, can get it done again. $6 for me in the last.
Yes, for the last of the season, long-term listeners will know I love to go looking for like a $20, a $30, a $40 horse because about 5 seasons ago I hit much better. That'd be up there for mock horses. Jesus, much better at like $40 for the punters to finish off the season. So I went looking for one. Couldn't find one. Like, there are only a few in this race, and I just could not make a case for them. But I did find one that I'm keen at $8 to win, $2.70, and that's Lord of Biscay. First up, it has only ever run well, except for its first up run in Australia, where it got held up in quite a bit of traffic. Then it pulled up lame, so forgive, forget. It's now been gelded. The trials have looked great. It draws the inside. Should do no work. Getting on those leaders' tails. Hopefully proves too strong for them late. $8 to win, $2.70. Hopefully we finish off the season with a bang there with Lord of Biscay.
Awesome.
All right, mate. Let's head to it. The final race in the Great Spring Tip-Off. You have to make up 8.7 points. For those of you playing at home or just joining us for the first time, it is based off of if you put $1 on a horse each way, that's how many points you build up over the year. Over the spring, sorry. Nicholas was in front quite a margin for quite a lot of the spring. But Everest Day brought me back into the fold. I just scraped behind him, and then that very next week I jumped over him, and he's been trying to claw ever so back ever since. And I thought I was home and hosed 2 weeks ago. He hit Pericles to draw back 20 points, and now it's 8.7, Nick. Loser sits in McDonald's for 24 hours. Every burger you consume takes an hour off. Are you nervous? What are your thoughts? Are you confident? What are your thoughts?
Look, I'm not confident because I know the odds are heavily against me. I got a tip value, but this is a race to do it, punters. Your favourites are paying $6. So I'm gonna have to play two different tips here, based off the odds. Because if I tip someone who I think is gonna win, and they come into $6, that's enough points for me to win anyway. So this is gonna be a bet pending odds for me. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah, because it's off the start. He can't use the points that he gets now. It's start of the race.
Whatever it jumps at. Because if it also goes out to $20, I get 20. That's what happened with Pericles. It
exactly.
At 12, went out to 20.
If that wasn't for that, you would have been having to make up 20 points here because you gained an extra 12 points with his drift.
Yeah. So, look, we'll have a look here. Do I go a bunch of like real big value? I'm talking real big and just try and pray for a place from someone, or do I have a crack? I think I have a crack. Party, it's going to get bashed in. I know that. I'm going to be on it myself personally. If it gets me enough points for the win, I will take it. However, I think it's going to get crunched here, punters. Where if it does, I'll have to go something different. And I'm going with NCAP.
Nice.
Definitely won't get crunched here. Ran pretty poorly, not terribly, but pretty poorly in the Golden Eagle, but it was a bit wet. Barrier worries me really, but I reckon that'll probably end up being my play for the race in the end. So $17, $4.30. So if you want to have a tip on that as well, by all means. But yeah, if I'm interested to see, because I think even if Party stays at the price, right? If you run a second, you probably still win. If you're on a place, you probably still win.
Looking at the math, it'll be if the prices hold of what they are right now, I can't do the math in my head, but it'll be very, very close. You'll be texting me and sending me straight to the calculator.
Well, let me have a look.
I hate the position you're in because this is usually where I am. The last 2 springs I have been. I believe you're going for a third straight tipping comp. I haven't
lost in a while.
Because you won this autumn and you won last spring. So you're going for third straight tipping comp.
Of course, we've got a punishment now.
Yeah.
when I'm down. But no, it's all right.
Usually it's me, and usually I hate it because, like, at least a couple times where I've been in this position, the favourite has just looked so good, and you want to get on it because you just feel like it's going to win, but you have to look elsewhere. But luckily for you, you have found this race where you've got favourites paying $6 to win and $2.30 to place. So you've got favourites that, like, you can hope drift a bit and get on them if you really wanted to get onto that favourite.
Yeah.
Like, so.
No, well, I've got here how we've gone. So from how many group ones have there been? There is
just over 40. I believe it's either 40 exactly or 41 or 42.
Okay, so let's go with 40, right? Cashy's had 10 wins, 2 second places, and 7 third places for 90.
Oh, you're going
for 93 points.
So one about at 40% placed at about almost half of them I've placed in.
And how's this for Nick's luck? This has just summed up my spring. I've had 4 winners. I've had 7 seconds and 10 thirds.
Gross.
For 84 points. So clearly I'm tipping value here, punters. That 20 point really helped, but I had some tough beats. I think I had Tom Kitten at good points, lose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a bit unlucky, but that's okay. It's part of the game.
So how many of you had run top 3?
I've had 21. You've had 19.
So you've been the more consistent across the board. Yeah. They just haven't been getting their nose in front.
You've had 9 non-winners. I've had 17 non-winners.
That's God. Yeah, that does sum up you because you've had a lot of seconds.
Yeah.
Lot of seconds. Usually it's me. I'm the king of running second usually.
I think it's been I've been consistent. That's why I was winning so much, is because every race I was scoring points, or most races. But in the end, you got like probably 3 winners on.
Yeah,
You
so
had the Cornwall, you had the Everest.
Everest Day was kind to me, and then Golden Eagle Day was also very kind to me.
So it is what it is. We'll wait till the end of today. Who have you got in this race?
You can look through them all. I could be a dick and try and place a party. I could be a dick and try and play a favourite. But even if I did play a favourite, like I said, it's not as much.
Well, technically, we should have got you to go first, so you didn't hear my tip. So I know
That's
we'll
true.
leave that.
But
I'll leave you because I know you're a
yeah,
fair player.
I'm not gonna be a dickhead here, even though the favourites aren't actually favourites here with that sort of price. If it was a $2 favourite, I even wouldn't be going on it. I'm not that sort of guy because I look for who's gonna win. And I've found a horse that I think is going to win. And if you don't place and if I win here and I stretch this margin out to a 20-pointer, I would love that. Because I've found Quaddie here. I can't see why it's paying this price considering the form it's got. First up, it was all right behind Macarena and Amelia's Jewel. Nothing to scream and shout about. Next race, it runs over this distance. It wins on Everest Day over Hinged, who's just come out and finally gotten the monkey off the back and gotten a win during Cup Week. Speaking of runs during Cup Week, she was less than 3 lengths off the finish in the Empire Rose behind A Tissue, Amelia's Jewel, Zardozi. Some of the best female horses in the country. Yes, has to run against the boys here. That was just a female race. This is against the boys. So I understand for a little bit of an upgrade in price there. But when you look at it, those are some of the best horses in the country. Like A Tissue, I would have A Tissue probably in my top 10, if not just out. There's no other horses here that have that form to me. I do like a Mighty Ulysses. If it gets up here, I'll be really annoyed, but I think it's going to Melbourne, and you'll hear about that in a little bit. Gringotts is more than capable to get up from that barrier. Same with Territory Express. Very good chance. Waterford, our old friend, if that gets up, you'll probably kick yourself when it comes to down in that 12th burger that you didn't get on Waterford. But, yeah, Quaddie, the big grey girl, at $11 to win, $3.30 to place punters. I just think, even with a place, like I said, I'll be looking forward to potentially stretch out those points, but I think she can win.
Fair enough. Look,
it all comes down to this, punters. Keep an eye on our socials at the Mock Sports on Instagram so you can see the final tally, and we'll start to announce the rules of the punishment in the next few weeks, because we'll get the punishment done definitely in the next couple of weeks. So we move to the grounds. For the last time this spring, have you found anything around the country, mate?
I've got only one.
Ooh.
Only one. Race number 4, down in Cranbourne. Let me find what number it is. I wrote it down, but I didn't write. Electrona. So I think it's number 8. Yep, $6, $2.20 for a place. Yeah, that'll be my only around the ground play, but there'll be more on double on the weekend, which we'll have a look at.
Yes, fair enough. Completely opposite to you. I've got about 7 of them. I've decided to go big to finish off the spring, and hopefully we can ride off into the sunset with a lot of money in our back pockets. Cranbourne Race 6, Ambassadorial, $4.80. Cranbourne Race 7, Floozy at $7 to win, $2.50 to place. Cranbourne Race 8 in the Meteorite, mate. A couple of people were asking if this was going to be in the tip-off. Next year it will be. This year, no, because it was added midway through the spring. So I didn't want to do the thing where, I add another race and then you could have that controversy of Nick was winning after the Gong, but then I passed him again in the Meteorite, and you could argue till the cows come home if that was unfair for adding the second race that wouldn't have existed previously. But Barrack Wheel, we've gotten a lot of mail around it. Apparently they're very, very confident that it absolutely shits in. We're not going to load it so we don't get Boston rocked, but we're definitely going to be on it. Cranbourne Race 9, Mighty Ulysses in the Cup there. I do think it goes down to Melbourne. $15 to win, $3.75 to place. Going over to Perth. Ascot Race 8 for the Railway Stakes. Light Infantryman at $4.20. J-Mac flies all the way over to Perth to ride it, so he must be confident in it. Then I'm going up to Queensland. Doomben Race 7, Midnight in Tokyo, $3.20. And Doomben Race 8, Bubba's Bay, $4.20. 2 black bookers that have been running really well lately, and I just have been failing to mention them on the podcast. Hopefully they continue to run well and don't leave me with egg on my face that I haven't tipped them in previous weeks. So quite a few tips there around the grounds. But like Nick said, if you ever want to copy any of them, go to Dabble, sign up using the code MOXSports, gamble responsibly and set deposit limit if you do so. But all of our on-the-day bets will be there. Any spontaneous moments we have, any spontaneous multis, trifectas, first fours, they're all going to be there.
There's lots on a Saturday night at like 10 p.m. There's lots of spontaneous bets when I'm out.
That's for sure. When you get your hot hands, that is for sure. Okay, we're coming off the Quaddie win last week. Wasn't a massive payout, but a win's a win, and it was a profit. Let's try and do it one last time for the punters. We've been better at our Quaddies than the last few seasons. Let's try and go out with a bang. We'll do Cranbourne. We'll do Kembla. 2 Quaddies. Let's try and win one. Okay, Nick, who have we got at Kembla?
Race 7, we've got Estadio Mestala, Tabby Time, Rock Empire, and Rough Attack. That's 2, 3, 7, 15. Race 8, you've got Gringotts, Lekvart, Stapati, and Waterford, 1, 9, 11, and 12. Race 9, you've got Hedged, Iona, Merck, Headwall, and Fleetwood. That's 3, 7, 9, 10. Race 10, you've got Lord of Biscay, Rostonica, Ironman, Atmospheric Rock. That's 4, 11, 14, 16. $50 gets you 19.5%. Cranbourne, race number 7. Conasana, Floozy, Tis Invincible, and Marble Arch. 1, 3, 8, 10. Race 8, Barraquil, Deport, Ray Magnerio, Arkansas Kid. 1, 2, 6, 10. Race 9, Mighty Ulysses, It's a Wild Night, Pinstriped, Earlswood. That's 1, 2, 9, 12. Race 10, Oh Too Good, I Gotcha, Shiny New Deal, and Capricorn Star. That's 6, 8, 9, 12. $50 gets you 19.5%. Mate, last bet for the spring. Who you got for your best bet and why?
Iona Merck, Newcastle, race 9. It's probably my highest
Kembla.
Kembla race 9. It's probably my highest paying best bet all spring. I've left it till the end, but I am just confident on it. $7 to win, $2.20 to place. I just don't see why it's at these odds. I just think it sits just off the leaders. Soon as it turns for home, presses the button and goes on with the job and gets it done at a big price to send us off into the summer with a big, big bang.
Fair enough. I'm going Barraquil. Best of the day, $2.70. Lots of mail on it. Good price. Take me into the McDonald's, I think, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Please let us know. Thank you so much for this spring. Please let us know what you want to see. We want to bring you some more stuff. Me personally, I don't want to wait until autumn until we do some more stuff. So we've got to work out what we're going to do. If we do wait until autumn, we definitely need we 100% need something to do between autumn and spring. So if it's more AFL, NRL, whatever you want to see, just let us know. However you want to contact us, Instagram, Facebook, email in our Instagram bio. They'll be in the description as well if you want to just comment, whatever you want to do. Send us a message. Let us know what you want to see, and we can give it to you if we can. But yeah, thank you so much for this spring, guys. Thank you for being here week in, week out. There's a lot of you that probably have watched every single podcast. Yeah, we really appreciate you guys. It's been a hell of a ride, and we've had so much fun doing it. So thanks, boys and girls, mostly the lads. But yeah, well done to everyone. Hope you all won some money from us this spring. Overall, I think we probably trended positively, and we had a good time. So big shout out to our sponsors for the podcast for this spring. Stridyl, as always. We've got a new podcast out with them, which you can go listen to. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go give it a listen if you ever have any interest in buying a horse. All the questions are in there. You don't have to ask us anymore. We're just going to send you to that video and you can watch it yourselves. Dabble, thank you to you guys. We're going to do a lot more, hopefully, with you guys next year as well. So stay in tune for that. But everything we mentioned, we're betting with them. They're our number one supporters as well. So make sure you download the app. Use our code, the Mock Sports. It's in our description.
Mock Sports, whatever.
And yeah, get along with it. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's been awesome. Gamble responsibly as always. NBA tips on Dabble as well. and then a lot of cricket coming up. So enjoy the silly season, enjoy your Christmas, New Year, and we'll see you guys soon. Anything left to say for the punters?
Well, yeah, you covered most of it. Like you said, if you want something to listen to us in the meantime, we've got that interview with Stridyl, the ultimate guide to buying a racehorse. The next time you'll see the Quaddie Poddy pop up will be Magic Millions week in January there, and after that it won't be until autumn. But as Nick alluded to, behind the scenes, we're going to get to work. We're going to figure out what sort of content we're going to bring to you over the summer. Podcast-wise, it'll probably be interviews if it pops up. But again, who knows? An idea might pop out of nowhere for a new show that we launch over the summer. But new show, if it comes, will, like Nick said, probably be likely around autumn, that gap there to touch on, all the happenings in that big 4-month-long break there. But a lot of content to come. Love you forever and always. The mock community just keeps on growing. Can't wait to get stuck into it come autumn time when it comes to the Quaddie Poddy. But until then, let's win some money.
Good luck.